Living the Word, I guess livingtheword.org, I believe. Pastor David Hawkins. As a matter of fact, Danette, he would be a phenomenal guest on your podcast.
Wow.
So go ahead and look at him. And if you're interested, he's a great friend of ArtSpeak, a great friend of Jason, the owner of ArtSpeak. And I think we can probably make that happen. One of our clients, but what I would like to say about kind of really answering your question full circle is he's taken his messaging blueprint, again, mission, vision, values, and then the clarity on their messaging and their audience. And he's now used that to formulate their ministry.
Wow.
Their budget is set around these families. Our budget, these families, and there's more personas in their profile, but our budget needs to go to A, solve these problems, or B, that bring solutions to the hope that these people have that have yet connected to their God destiny. So now become very, very focused and very targeted. How can we create ministry that serves and reaches and connects to these families and gives them, through our local church, being part of the community and part of the journey together by helping answer their questions and help speak into their hopes and dreams. So then that not only formulates marketing and what you see on their website and that message that goes out there, that invitation message, but it goes full circle to how they do ministry. So it's from budgeting, it's from how they set up their leadership structure, the positions that they have, the people that they pay for, the teams that they develop. But if it can't solve these problems, they don't do it as a ministry. They don't have this program.
Wow.
They don't do this thing if it's not pointed back to solving one of these problems. So then now they're able to so then when people come to their church, hey, I want to start this ministry. Hey, I want to do this thing. Why don't we do that? Then he goes back into, we don't do that because God has positioned us in this community to help meet these needs, to minister to these people. And so when they do ministry, when they communicate, these are the faces they have in mind. It's Ryan and Joanna and their family.
Right.
It is that single mother who is struggling, who has yet to ever find a life-giving church, but she's been through every rehab, every help out there in the world in her community to find hope, but is yet to find it through local church. So so David Hawkins and Living the Word, if we can communicate that, we're going to say no to a lot of things because we're going to say yes to what God's called us to do so that we can intersect with these people on this journey and create that win for their life. And then what messaging also does is so that helps solve. So that's going to eliminate a lot of meetings, Danette. I might have just freed some people up here on this call. that's going to give permission, pastors and leaders, to eliminate a lot of meetings, and it's going to give you permission to do things that maybe you haven't when you have that clarity and that calm confidence of this is who we are. And a lot of times pastors will say yes to a lot of good things because they haven't really clarified the great things. But when you can clarify the great things, you can say no to a lot of good things, knowing there's other organizations and churches in the community that are going to serve those needs. We can really lean in and get honed in. And then with volunteers, Danette, if I would have had this process when I was in ministry, I'm telling you what. But I'm going to help some people out here.
Please help. We desperately need volunteers.
My word, 95 in all of my time in student and family ministries on my team, even though we had some great ministries, large ministries, doing all kinds of stuff. I had a part-time administrator for 20 hours a week to help put all of the stuff into processes. And so I had to do everything by teams. I had to build teams. And so I would say to having this framework, the benefit to team building is that people will give their life because they're compelled by story. They're compelled by the mission. That I know we're not paying you for this, but if we can paint that vision of that journey that we're taking people on and the eternal impact they're going to have for their life, the crowns that we're going to have in heaven. I told children's workers, painted such a compelling picture that in heaven, that God's going to give you He's going to give you a golden shuttle bus in heaven to drive around in. If you were to drive shuttle bus here on earth, that if you were to help out in the toddler room and these families and these broken people that we're reaching, and the hope that you're going to give those families, that you're going to have crowns. You're going to have crowns of gold gummy bears and goldfish crackers in your crown for helping in heaven, for helping these people out. So I think that if we have that compelling vision and we know the journey, we can paint the picture of these families that we're reaching. Would you consider joining me on this journey to make that impact to these families? So if we can get really clear to our volunteers and potential volunteers and where they're compelled by that story, that when they go in that children's classroom, It's not just let's help kids prevent from killing each other for the next hour and a half, or throwing stuff or crying or whatever. But if we can now formulate and fashion ministry around those personas, ministry around the pain point, and then we can begin to formulate our teams. Then for children's ministry, well, what does that environment need to look like if we're going to reach these kind of families? If this mom is coming in and she doesn't feel safe, she doesn't feel trusted by the church, then how do we help that mom feel trusted in our ministry? What are colors and what are the types of people that need to be present? What are the types of the environment we need to have for our kids to help mom within 30 seconds gain trust in our environment? What kind of qualifications do our workers need to have? What kind of countenance on the face that people have? What kind of curriculum do we need to have? What kind of paint on the walls do we need to have? What are those people that we're looking for in children's ministry, that we don't have to say yes to everyone? We're saying that we formulate such a plan for our ministry around strategic messaging, and that communication is that now that we're looking at the lenses, can these volunteers fulfill that through this clarity, through the questions that we ask, through maybe where their heart's at? And that gives us permission as ministry to say, you know what? I feel that you're best suited for this ministry over here. Because clarity has shown you that that is not the best fit for them.
Right.
And so I would say that, it's not the silver bullet. I know that there's a lot of leadership and there's a lot of other things. We're not the magic bullet, but I think that clarity and that communication, taking the mission, vision, values, and getting really clear on how that we start that conversation with people, how we invite them to church, but not just that. How does it come back around full circle to where messaging formulates how we do ministry?
Wow, that's so powerful. And just
like Jesus, right? To the Jesus model of volunteering, come follow me.
Right.
We're going to be on this great journey. And I think there's a lot of undervaluing the shoulder tapping. Come follow me. We're going to do something great for the world. We're going to do something great for God. Would you give me a season? Would you give me 3 months? Try it out. Work the process with us and see if you can make a difference along with us.
Right.
I think that's the beauty of ministry, that let's get enough for that foundational process. But I think what Bob Goff said, we just need to work out loving people, work out connecting with people. But that foundation does give you that confidence to how to do it in a way where it's most effective for your ministry.
So in one of your quotes here, it says your message is the answer for someone, but when you're talking to everyone, you're really talking to no one. Please help me with that one. Yeah,
that goes back to really that kind of that white noise, and I think that sometimes is a tension for some ministries, is we don't want to exclude people, so we're going to cast out this amazing, huge net, hoping we're going to catch, or we're going to.
Okay, I got you.
We're going to capture everybody. So I think when we have strategic messaging, and that it really allows us to really
messaging.
It allows us to create the wins in ministry.
Yes.
Is if you're kind of reaching everybody, it's kind of vague, and then what we're able to measure is vague. But when we get very pointed, very strategic, and knowing that these are the people that we're best suited to reach. This is our gifting, our grace, the anointing. This is the team that we have and the heart of our pastor and our ministry. If we just communicate some pointed things there, and every church has, if you think of every church, your people, it's a target. The center of your target are those people that you're best suited to reach. And you have those outer rings. If let's say you're a church that reach college and young adults and young professionals, and that's kind of who you're best suited to reach in your serving area, that would be the center target of your ring. But that outer ring might be retired couples, early retired couples in their 50s, empty nesters, but they're still youthful enough.
Right.
They love the next generation. Maybe they had served in ministry somewhere back in the day, or they were reached when they were in college, and they know the impact of that season. And so for them on that outer ring, that might be, hey, we're not in our 20s, but we sure love 20-year-olds. We love a young, vibrant, energetic church. We love the vibrant expression of younger worship. So you're going to have maybe those 3 or 4 rings, and so that and the communications messaging, it is pointed, it is strategically pointed towards our target, but then also to its messaging. What are those other outer rings? We want to exclude that. We want to invite them into the conversation as well. So that messaging is strategic, but that messaging also is flexible to speak to these other voices, like Steve Pike, who's always going to want to be in the youngest church in his area.
Right. And again, we would like Steve to post the Next Wave community link, and take the offer on the free trial and just look in the community. I'm in the community. Art Speak Creative is a part of the community, and it's a wonderful community to connect to. So check it out with us. We're going to ask Steve to, post that again. But what you are saying, I was looking at, so of course I was looking at a church start where before they started the church, they started serving first. This was something that was on Exponential with Steve and Jason, and it was a church of Ray Hudson. I don't know if you know about him, and I might be asking you the question when you might not know much about it because you didn't do the interview. But what I did like about when I was looking at the interview, they were in a place where 99% of the people were not interested in faith at all. No interest at all. But what they did before they ever opened up their church facility was that they were serving the community and, reaching the community before, they even launched the ministry. And so, sure. I mean, again, you talked about Jesus's model for volunteers, but I also think that was Jesus' model before the birth of the church, right? Is that,
absolutely,
before the launch, before Pentecost, you understand what I'm saying? And so that was his way of serving the people. You understand what I'm saying? Before the launch, right? So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
They're finding need and fill it. And I know who he is, but I don't know his journey and his story. But it does remind me of a church that we're working with in a suburb. It's about 40 miles, I believe, south of Atlanta, in Griffin, in the city of Griffin there. But they're a 3-year-old church. The year before they launched the church, they bought an old bread truck and they put a wrap on it. But they started serving free ice cream, almost, I think, multiple days of the week.
Is that the ice cream truck?
Around and they started giving out free ice cream.
Right.
And they're in a very much, yeah.
That's the ice cream truck.
Yeah, so they might have.
Yeah, I read that. Yes.
Yeah, Pastor Josh.
I read that story.
Yeah, so for a year they started just going around, and they were on a railroad track town. It's race and economics and challenges and issues are divided by, different worlds and different life and different needs and different tensions. And so he felt, what divides or what builds bridges? I don't care what color of your skin. I don't care what neighborhood you live in, your background, your upbringing, who you voted for in this last election. Everybody loves ice cream.
Everybody loves ice cream.
Let's build a bridge with ice cream. And that today is one of the foundations of their ministry, is that before they were known as the church, they were known as the people that just give ice cream everywhere. So absolutely.
Wow. And you know what? That's so powerful, because I did read about that. And so they had like an old UPS truck, and they turned the truck into an ice cream truck. And so that's what they did. They went out and gave the ice cream. And there was a quote on, also, I did a lot of reading, of course, now you could tell by me talking.
Yeah.
But one of the quotes from somebody on here was a John Mark Comer, but it wasn't about their story, but I still tie it in with their story, is that attention, right? Attention is the way, he says, if you have someone's attention, that you're on a journey with them towards life change. So attention is the beginning of devotion. But what a powerful strategy in the way these pastors got the people's attention, right? That was the beginning of devotion, through the ice cream, because they got the people's attention through giving out this free ice cream. That's so smart. The Bible says he that winneth souls is so wise, right? And so, these tools and and I